The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Rise and shine, my sinners. When Father Evil starts his day, he gets a little deadly. Deadly Grounds coffee has the richest, smoothest flavor you'll find anywhere. It's sinfully delicious. Once you go deadly, you never go back. Order yours at getdeadly.com. Coffee's so good, it's scary.
Persons under 18 will not be admitted.
What the fuck are we gonna do now? Get high? Hey everybody! You know what time it is? It's time for another killer episode of Still Toking with. Yeah, you did you notice that, Jeremy? I changed it up there. You see that? I changed it up just a little bit.
Look at you. Surprise.
Yeah. Surprise, surprise. Well, we're full of surprises tonight. I'm just going to say that right now. So my backup to the backup, who is now backing us up, is coming to hang out with us tonight. Jags. Welcome, brother. Welcome.
Always good to be here. I feel like I'm doing at least like one show a month with you at this point.
Dude, hey, you know what? It's all good, man. It's all good. You know, when we start going back out on the road, you know, people will recognize the faces.
Yeah. I'll definitely be there at some point.
Right. And of course, filling in for the fill-in as he always does.
It's me. Oh, my hair is a mess. Oh, my God.
Did you stick? It looks like you stuck your finger in a light socket, bro.
Yeah. I think it's when I put on getting old. I'm going bald and all that stuff. And wah. Like, my God, the hair just gets all frizzy now. This humidity, it's crazy up here in Massachusetts.
We got to get you some no frizz.
Yeah. So, shall I introduce our guests?
You are introducing our guest tonight because Jeffrey is on vacation.
I am. I'm so grateful for this because this actress is in one of the movies I saw in theaters, and it was. I don't go out to theaters a lot, and she blew me away in this movie. But she's also been in Reminiscent next to Hugh Jackman and hanging out there. But everybody, this is Gabrielle Echols, Bridget from Evil Dead Rise.
Hi, everybody.
What's up?
Not much. And Jeremy, if you want to see some real humidity, come down to Georgia.
Oh,
That's
no,
what I'm saying. Come, I live on an island on the coast of South Carolina, and it's like 100% humidity.
I melt when I go outside. It's gross around here.
No, I get it. I have really crazy hair, which is surprisingly tame right now. But every time I walk out, it's like poof.
Yep.
So welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, so yeah, Evil Dead Rise. I guess because
Go right into that.
Jeremy started it right there on us, so I guess we'll go right into that.
Oh, we got
Yeah.
to.
Okay, well, go ahead. It's all you. I'm gonna sit back and watch.
All right. So, well, let's
You
get
didn't watch
into-
the movie, you freaking loser.
Yeah.
Dude, those movies scare me.
You did it? Hey,
It was creepy.
I
Creepy as-
cannot blame you. Sometimes I don't watch my own stuff. So,
No,
yeah.
I haven't had a chance to watch it. I've been so busy just with everything that I do.
Bro, that shit's been out for years.
Dude, the writing of the novel and the TV series and the comic books and
I'm gonna ride your ass this whole show. I'm just letting you
listen, you by all means ride. Go ahead.
No, listen, I'm with Ben on this one. I get people all the time who are like, oh, have you seen this movie? Have you seen this TV show? And I want to. Like, I have a list of all the shows and all the films I want to watch, and I've seen snippets of, and I think they're great. They're amazing. But whenever I say no, they're always so shocked. They're like, you're an actor. Come on, like, you got to watch movies. Surprisingly, I don't, contrary to popular belief. I'm too busy to.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Like, when the hell do you have time to? Especially, doing what you do. It's, it's constant business 24/7. It's not something that you could stop. And as an actor, you have to like grind and grind and grind, and it never ends.
Yeah, and the biggest part of it is that it's all really spontaneous. So, you don't know when you're going to get an audition or when there's something you've got to do. It just kind of comes up, and you have to kind of be on your game 24/7.
So even though I haven't seen the movie, I do have a question.
Yeah.
Did you see yourself as a horror actress, or were you just getting into acting in general?
Well, no, I definitely did take an interest in like horror, psychotic thrillers, or just innately scary and intimidating movies because I enjoy them myself.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that's probably the genre that I watch the most. And yeah, I mean, I'm obviously open to a lot of things. I like challenging myself. I like, being able to immerse myself into the perspective of a character and all of that, regardless of it being horror or not. But horror adds a different element to acting in the sense of my situation where I was playing a deadite. You can't really, it's not a person. You have to find sort of almost animalistic nature and figure out how to run with it. So that's the fun part that I really like about horror specifically.
Your portrayal of a deadite was also how you got the role, right? Like
kind of, yeah. I mean, I assume that there were a lot of other, a lot of other reasonings behind it, but I had to do an audition take specifically for a deadite, and I didn't know what it was. I had no idea what a deadite was. I had to ask one of my coaches back then and be like, "Hey, what's this?" And they're like, "Oh, okay. Let me explain this to you." And it was the scene where I had to eat glass, right? And when you're doing those auditions, you only get a snippet of the information. So, you know, I found out that I had to eat glass, and I was like crouched over on this like countertop and everything. And I like being very practical. I like trying to recreate what's in my head or what's on paper in the actual audition, which, as I've spoken about before, is difficult because you can't move. It's just this one small frame, and you got to stay within it. So if there's too much movement, it's really distracting. But yeah, I dragged my desk over, crouched on top of it like a freaking weirdo, and I started eating ice in place of glass, and my lips turned blue so freaking fast, and I cannot tell you how many takes I did. And I literally, the drool that was coming from my mouth was real drool. Like, I wasn't trying to do that because my mouth had become so numb from all the ice that I couldn't help it, which in turn ended up looking great. But it was a process.
Yeah.
I was about to ask how you even got involved in Evil Dead. Did you even know anything about the Evil Dead, like the whole backstory to any of it before you got into it?
Oh, yeah, like the other films?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely. I watched the second one, and there's so many iconic moments in each of them that they just kind of stick with you. So when I got the audition and I saw it, one, I obviously recognized everyone's names attached to it immediately. I knew who everyone was, so I got really excited based off of that. And two, Evil Dead, you know, like it stuck with me. I was like, I know this. Like, there's something coming in my head. And then when I looked it up, I was like, oh my gosh, I've seen this. I know exactly what this is. So yeah.
I'm actually shocked at how many people even nowadays like have no idea what Evil Dead is.
It's a classic at this point.
It is. I mean, I watched it as a kid. Like, it was probably one of the first horror movies that I ever fucking watched, and it just sucked me in. That's actually what created my love of that whole genre of like the campy horror stuff. Like, I love that stuff, and people make fun of me constantly for it, but that's just what I like. And I loved it. And I even liked the direction, even though Evil Dead, the newer Evil Dead, kind of got out of the whole campy stuff and now it's a lot more serious. I still like it. It's still awesome.
Good. I'm glad that we definitely had a bit of a different spin on it. And we try to keep a lot of those elements that make, you know, an Evil Dead film. There's a lot of little Easter eggs in there that I'm not sure if everyone caught, but there was a lot of detail-oriented work put into it to try and, you know, keep the essence of Evil Dead, even though it was a little different from all the other films.
Right. See, I like the way you said you watched it as a kid, Jags. What are you, like, 30?
No, I'm 41.
Because I mean, when I was watching horror movies, the horror movies I was watching were like The Mutilator, you know.
I watch The Mutilator. I love The Mutilator. It's a great
film. Die slowly, you know, things like that. That's, you know, Children of the Corn. I mean, till this day, still freaks me out.
Well, you got to think the very first Evil Dead came out, what, like 78, 79?
Yeah, maybe you're right.
Yeah, it was late 70s was the very first one.
I don't know.
And the second one was like 81, 82, something like that.
Well, you would know.
Yeah. Fuck off.
Wow. I used to like you.
You still love me. Don't even.
So what would you say was one of the toughest, because you did a lot of your own stunts, right?
Yeah, I tried to. I did everything that they would allow me to do.
No. What wouldn't they allow you to do?
So for the crawling off the scene countertop where like I start cascading down the cabinets, they try to get me as much like padding as possible because the countertop was a lot higher than I think what a normal countertop is, and I'm really short. I'm like barely 5'2". So for me it was right here, right? So trying to go head first down that was daunting to say the least. And there's also like supposed to be a flame right next to me, and the countertop super slippery with all blood and gunk and so, you know, they tried to put pads on me and stuff like that, but it just kept getting in the way. So I was like, no, it's fine. So it's fine. But I have I had bruises all over my legs from just going up and down and almost falling on my face a few times. And then the part where I get like kicked back into the, what do you call that? Fucking the dishwasher. Yeah, they put a pad back there, and it's really weird because essentially by throwing yourself back, you know, your brain kind of knows like, oh, I'm kind of like hurting myself, and it's like, don't do that. It keeps you from doing that, but you're like, no, I have to. Like, you have to do this. So it's really weird mentally throwing yourself back, knowing it's gonna hurt.
That is true.
I have to ask, how much practical effects did they actually use with y'all in the film?
That's a really common question, and the answer is always a lot. A lot of it was practical. Pretty much most of it was. Like, I have a wonderful stunt double. Her name is Meg Morrison, and she did the scene where I caught on fire and burst into flames. And
makes sense that you want to do that.
I would have if they let me.
Oh my god.
That sounds like so much fun. She was talking to me about the process of like there's this gel that's kept in a fridge that you have to put on. There's this like suit, you know, just the whole process of going through it. And she's talking about how much anxiety she had, and I was like, oh my god, I can't imagine. But also, I want to kind of try and do it. I know how dangerous it is. Like, I'm not gonna, you know, undermine what she did. Could I do what she did? Probably not. Would I like to give it a try? Yeah.
That's cool. Sounds like you're pretty brave out there.
So Gabby wants to be lit on fire. Great.
You've been acting.
You got to give it to her for wanting to do, because there's a lot of actors that would be like, I'm good. Nope. I don't want to do it.
I'm not hurting this. The moneymaker.
Nope. I mean,
that's really what's most fun for me, like on set, is when there's any kind of stunt involved. Like when Ellie, Alyssa Sutherland has to like tackle me down onto the ground. You know, there was a pad behind us and everything, but you know, you do kind of have to let someone just tackle you back, and that was super fun because I was a very athletic kid growing up, and I kind of still am, but I did a lot of different sports and activities when I was younger, so that's where I felt most comfortable, was with everyone in stunts.
I'm sure you're.
How old were you when you did the film?
I had just turned 16.
Oh
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
16. What was I doing at 16? Probably stuff I shouldn't mention on the show.
Probably not. I mean, we did run a disclaimer, but
yeah. Well, no, like, thank God I grew up in the 90s. There's no tape or video of it anywhere. It's all gone.
Yeah, everything nowadays is on social media for everyone to find.
Yeah, probably some of the stuff would end up on World Star. I don't need that.
I don't think anybody wants that. No.
So
So I do have to ask and I've wanted to know this. Did the whole like mutated monster at the end of it, the huge deadeye, was that practical? That whole giant thing?
That was.
That's awesome.
Right. That makes me happy.
It was really cool, but honestly, that was actually really difficult within itself because I can't describe it in a way that does it justice, but it's essentially this kind of backpack styled suit where it's got all of, you know, these prosthetics attached to it and everything, and it's, you know, got that skin. It looks disgusting. So it was perfect, and we each had to like crawl in. One person crawls in on the other side, and like their leg is over you. It's like you kind of have to tangle yourself within the suit, and it's kind of laid down on a box. You can't move anywhere, right? You can't move anywhere. It's super uncomfortable. But for the most part, yeah, like aside from, you know, stringing certain things together and, you know, touching it up and making it look, you know, a little seamless, all of it was practical. And especially the scenes where, you know, you could see the creature moving, and you could see the
Right.
legs, and arms, and everything. That was two of the other stunt doubles that did a fantastic job on that.
So
I always wondered that. I was like, is that practical? I was like, if that's practical, that's got to be one hellaciously hot suit and freaking
Oh my
miserable.
God, for real.
You have no idea.
I mean, I've done some indie films in my lifetime, and those were bad enough. But like thinking about it and like watching that, I was just like, man, if that's practical, that's got to be the biggest sweat box of ever.
Especially because,
The stank.
you know, we all had prosthetic makeup on at that point. But
Yep.
this was after I had gotten burned to a crisp. So the prosthetic makeup that I had was from here up, and I actually still have like the mannequin in my head, and I have that.
No
silicone.
kidding.
I don't have it here because I just moved, and it's still back in my old apartment. But yeah, it covered every single tiny freaking crevice and wrinkle of my face, and that gets really hot as well because I can't. It's not breathable. I can't regulate my own body heat, my own body temperature. So it got really hot, and then also crawling into the suit as well, where like also I can't move my head and look around when I'm in there, so my head just kind of has to stay straight, and it's very uncomfortable, but it was very worth it.
So
Now I can only imagine because I had to do a werewolf one time, and it was a big huge mask with some puppeteer shit behind it, and like I got claustrophobic, and I was just sweating my ass off, and it freaked me out.
You know, I was just about to say, when you know, they obviously told me beforehand that this was going to require some prosthetics and stuff like that. And I was excited. So I was like, oh, yeah, cool. But I didn't fully comprehend the fact, because I read the script. I hadn't fully comprehended the fact that I was going to have to wear burn makeup. And I didn't really know what that entailed. I didn't really know what that meant. But before you get all of that done, they have to make a cast of your face and of your head and all of this, right? And it essentially feels like you're being buried alive. So you just kind of patiently sit there. They put a bald cap on you, which looks really funny. And then they start coating you in like this plaster stuff. And then these like these weird paper sheets. And then they do that over and over and over again. And they poke little holes here so you can hear, and then so you can, you know, breathe. and then the holes get covered, and you're essentially sitting there for like 30 minutes. And the entire time when that was happening, I was sitting here thinking, what the fuck did I just get myself into? Because I'm a weird person with texture, like sensory issues, right? So I'm sitting here thinking, oh no, I was the worst person to do this prosthetic, because they have to like pour glue down the prosthetic and mush it around. It was more of a mental battle than anything else. Like I genuinely had to just woosah.
You had to find your zen.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was going to ask you that this movie here in particular was the first time you ever had to do prosthetics like that, correct?
Yeah.
So I was going to ask you how it was, but you already answered that. So there, you know, my show notes. I'm just going to throw my show notes out the window. The hell with this, you know.
Hey, you're the one that brought the horror guy in here, so.
Oh no, I mean, absolutely. But speaking of horror and Evil Dead Rise and Gabrielle's amazing career that's just beginning, folks. I mean, she is going to be in Georgia at the Georgia Pop and Horror Con, August 2nd through the 4th. Columbus, I believe it's Columbus, Georgia.
It is Columbus, Georgia, August 2nd through the 4th.
Yeah. So for all our viewers, listeners, you know, make sure you check the show notes up above or down below to find out all the amazing things about Gabby. But also head down to the Georgia Pop and Horror Con if you want to meet her. I mean, I'm just going to say, you can sit here and watch her on the show, and you can watch her on other podcasts in talk shows, but get off your ass and go meet her.
Free parking, right?
Free parking, yes. Billy's going to love you for saying that one.
I know. That's why I did it.
You know, but not only are you going to be in Georgia, I know that you're also going to be in Virginia this year, from what I hear.
Yeah.
So September 14th and 15th at the Tidewater Horror Convention.
Mhm.
Both
Tidewater was fun. You're
Both
gonna have a
shows.
good time at Tidewater.
Oh yeah. Both shows are kick ass. I will tell you, we were in Georgia last year. Unfortunately, we're not making the trip this year, but what a gorgeous venue. Gorgeous venue. Billy and Brian, when they found this place, they nailed it. I just wish it wasn't so damn far away.
I went.
The one in Georgia is at an old steampunk factory.
I haven't been to Georgia. I thought you were talking about Tidewater.
Oh no, Tidewater moved to a different hotel.
Oh, it did? Oh.
Yeah, it's a bigger hotel. They needed it.
Yeah.
So, but you're gonna have a blast at both of them, I'll tell you that. But to the fans out there, there's no excuse, man. There is just no excuse. You know, bring her some really weird shit to sign.
Have you done cons before?
Sorry, what?
Have you done any cons before?
Oh yeah.
Oh
Definitely.
yeah.
Yeah, I love it when people bring me stuff like really weird niche objects. I think it's super cool. And then when they explain to me the reasonings as to why this is what they brought, I think it's great.
What's
awesome.
One of the stranger things?
Oh gosh. Well, okay, this isn't that strange because I mean it makes sense, but people bring stuff like cheese graters all the time, which makes sense. Oh Lord. Last time I did this was last October. So I'm trying to jog my memory.
It's all right.
I can't remember, but a very popular one is, cheese graters, shirts, certain pictures, autographs, DVDs, books. Those are pretty normal things and those are pretty standard, but there were a few different things. I just can't remember them right now.
It's all right.
I'm gonna throw it out there. So anybody going to Georgia or Virginia this year, you have to find a charred head.
There you go.
A charred head to have her sign. And we're gonna check on this. Just saying.
I would love that.
You may or may not win something from us, but I'm not going to tell you what it is if you even do it. So I'm just going to leave it there.
Oh, I'd pull that shit off if I make it to Georgia. I'm gonna try.
There's some crazy
try.
vendors
Not
there
that
that
far.
might even just have that kind of
Listen,
stuff.
if you go to Georgia and you bring her a charred head, I'm just going to mail you back a Hellfire Entertainment T-shirt.
There you go.
Sorry, brother, I had to.
That's actually funny. All right, yeah, send me a T-shirt of the company that I help own.
Right.
No, I would like to go because it's only I think Atlanta is only about 4.5 hours from me.
So it's about 5. Columbus is about an hour.
Okay.
After that, yeah. Because
Okay.
you're heading more towards Alabama out that way.
Okay. Yeah, it's gonna be about 5 then for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not
So-
too bad. That's not too bad.
Right. So other than being an actress, we hear that you have a passion for ballet.
I do.
Tell us a little bit.
Well, when I was 7, I started taking some ballet classes at a nearby center. And then I was accepted in on a scholarship to just a better ballet school for my area. And I spent a few years there, and then I went to what was, in my opinion, the best ballet school for the state. There's two kind of tied neck and neck. I would name them. However, if none of you know much about the ballet world, it can be incredibly toxic and
Sounds like any fandom.
The only thing I know about the ballet world is watching what was that movie? Black Swan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So some people may disagree with me on this, but in my opinion, I think it's a great representation of what could happen. I mean, obviously there are some very unrealistic things that go on, but it's not far off from how the ballet world really is.
Really? I always wondered that. I'm like, is it like really like that competitive and that backstabby that they get like that?
Yes, most definitely.
I think that's every industry, though.
Yeah,
I mean, they have their ups and downs.
A lot of dancers really, because it's so competitive because your career is so short. It takes such a toll on your body physically, and not to mention the emotional and mental aspect, that your career's over by longest maybe 45 if you're lucky, right? And that's if you don't get an injury, because if you get an injury, you're done. So there's people at 16, 17, 18 years old working their asses off to try and get a contract with the company, and essentially start their career, even though they're still a teenager. And most of them, they'll move out of state or out of country, alone at like 14, 15 years old, and that's normal. So you grow up fast and you have to become self-sufficient, independent. And when you sacrifice that much at such a young age and you dedicate essentially your whole life to it, and you don't get that job, or you don't get that role, or you don't get promoted, or you don't get accepted into a company, you can go a bit stir crazy.
I had no idea.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No idea. I mean, I've seen ballet once. Like, me and my parents, we used to go to Dracula at ballet, and it would come to like Charleston or Savannah, and it was actually really cool. Like, I'm not really big into ballet, but the Dracula whole thing was cool as shit. Like, it was actually like they used like blood and shit, and like it was very adult and very like, it was not PG at all. Like, it was for adults. And they had nudity involved and everything else. But I was actually, for somebody who didn't know anything about it, I was pretty impressed. Like, the shit that they were doing. I'm like, if I tried to do that shit, I'd break my damn ankle in 2 seconds. I'd be done.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Probably would. And I mean, that's really a great example of how ballet really is. Everyone from an outsider's perspective sees it as this very gorgeous, fluid, very elegant performance, which is what you're meant to see it as. But behind, backstage, it's a lot of, physical torment that you have to put yourself through. Most dancers, they dance on broken bones. This is gross, but their toenails are turning black and falling off, and they're still dancing on them. My feet are from ballet and just the point shoes that you're wearing. Mm-hmm. But don't get me wrong, through all of that, if you truly do love it and that is truly what you are passionate about, there's nothing else that you want to do. Like, your heart is in it, and it's like breathing, which is why it was very weird for me when I left, because like I said, very toxic environment for so many reasons, that I decided to leave. And after I left, it was so weird. It was so weird taking a step back and realizing how I just drowned myself in ballet and in that world, that I genuinely had to get used to kind of being normal, honestly.
Right.
Because I did it, 6 days a week, every week. Even during the summers, you would take an intensive that was even more intense than the normal year. And if you do that for multiple years at a time, you lose track of time. Like, everything just becomes one. And when you stop that, when you kind of break that cycle, it throws you off mentally and emotionally, because that is pretty much all I ever did. So I kind of had a freak out moment when I was like 15, where I contemplated like what I was going to do and really who I was, because that's kind of all my personality consisted of, was ballet. I didn't have time for anything else, so I couldn't, find out what I liked, what my hobbies were. So yeah, I kind of had a little bit of an identity crisis of trying to figure out who I was and what I liked. That wasn't just something that I was good at.
Right.
The first time I've heard others talk about how they grew up in something like that, whether it's like a sport that they were extremely in, and they never got to have like that normal childhood.
I was going to say the same thing.
It was force fed 24/7. Like that's all you do. That's all you are. That's all you know. Like it just engulfs your whole life. And then the day it's over, it's just this like sudden stop. And you're like, holy shit, what am I going to do now?
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do? Where am I supposed to go?
Well, we all know what she did. She went.
And it worked out, and that's something that I have come to terms with, and that I honestly kind of live by now, and have over the past few years. Is I try not to have any regrets in my life for a multitude of reasons, but one of the main ones is the fact that I don't think everything, but I think a lot of things. You know, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. But I think a lot of things happen for a reason. And if you choose to see it in a certain way, it could be a blessing in disguise. So, for instance, there's a lot of people in my life that I've met or that I've, associated myself with and whatnot that was blindsided by and, can walk away and be like, I regret ever meeting them. Like you don't want to see them again. You don't want to be around them. But then in turn, you think about the people that you've met because of them, the amazing ones, the ones that are in your life and all of that. And then I'm like, actually, you know what? I'd go through that experience 100 times over if that meant that these few people were still in my life. Because if it weren't for that bad experience, or if it weren't for those people, I wouldn't have met these people, or I would have had this opportunity. So looking on the bright side of things, when it comes to life, you can kind of take something from every situation, good or bad. There's something to be learned from every situation.
Wow.
I like that. I literally just had that same discussion with my fiance today.
Bad women. I love it.
Right.
Well, I mean, it came from a bad situation. I wouldn't have known you if I hadn't have been through the bad situation I did. I wouldn't have met my fiance if I hadn't went through that. I wouldn't have done any of the stuff that I've done if I hadn't went through that bad situation.
But what's kind of blowing me away right now is, I'm going to be 52. You're in your 40s. Jar Jar, you're what?
40? I'm 45.
All right, so 45. You're in your 40s.
Yeah.
This young lady, you're not even 20 yet, are you?
No, I am not.
Well,
and she is so well spoken about things in life that the three of us probably just figure it out.
I just figured this shit out.
I'm just saying. I'm kind of I'm really blown away.
They say men mature slower.
Yeah, but that's a lot slower. I'm going to give you props, Gabby, because you are very, very well spoken for somebody that is younger. You know what I mean? And to know these things at the age that you're at, there's not a lot of people in that category right now that can actually sit back and say what you just said.
No.
Everything happens for a reason. The bad, you take the good from the bad. I'm kind of blown away by that.
Facts of life.
You see so many people her age like quit because of that stuff.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Fuck that. Yeah. I don't want to do it. I don't want to deal with it. I just want to put it behind me and not ever think about it. And she's like, nah, fuck this shit. I'm going full steam ahead. And you don't see that very often anymore.
So I know that you're no longer in ballet, but do you still practice? Do you still kind of keep up with it just in case maybe an actress role comes up that you might need some of that?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I love ballet still. I'm not into it like I was, because I used to be pre-professional. Right. So I'm not into it like I used to be, but I still keep up with it. And yeah, I would love to be in a film that incorporates my dance background, specifically ballet, because I don't know, I feel like it would be fun to combine my two worlds.
Right.
If they ever do Black Swan 2, whoever did it, if they're watching.
She's like, pick me.
You were also homeschooled. What kind of what was that like? Like, did you do any public schooling at all?
So, fun fact, I was bullied.
Oh.
Just to be fully transparent.
Wow.
Yeah,
people suck, especially kids.
Kids suck. They're mean. But you want to know what? They're just a reflection of what they see at home and their parents and the people who raise them. So really that says more about their parents than them. But I digress. I was taken out and started doing homeschooling when I was in 3rd grade. And that was because I was being bullied. But also that happened with my older brother, who's 8 years older than I am. And then my younger brother is 2 years younger than I am. And his name is Jacob. He actually had a different situation where he was having some issues with, other kids at the school, but he is also, he's special needs. So he has autism as well as epilepsy. Hasn't had one in a while. So he was, in a program that helped with that. And teachers are meant to be understanding. They're meant to learn how to care for children like that, especially in a program like that. Was not the case, and we were greatly disappointed. So he was also taken out as well, which was amazing. I'm very appreciative of the experience I've had with being homeschooled, because I got to experience the world when other kids didn't. When you think about it, they wake up, they go to school, and then when school ends, that's when they get to go do something else. That's when they get to go experience life outside of school. I could go at any point during the day, which was great. And it created a very flexible schedule for me to do other things. So I really liked it.
That must have worked well for the ballet.
Oh, it definitely did. Pretty much everyone that was in ballet was also homeschooled. Because we would, some people would dance from like 8 a.m., 9, maybe 10 to 9 at night.
Wow.
So when did you get into acting, and what got you into acting?
So, my mom heard about this program that, to make a long story short, basically gives you the opportunity to perform in front of agents and managers and just representation. And it's meant for people who don't have any experience, have never taken an acting class in their life, which was perfect for me because I had no idea what I was doing. And there were rounds to go through, first round, they'd make a cut, second round, they'd make a cut, final round. Somehow I made it through all of them. Thank God. And that's where I met part of my team, which introduced me to another member of my team. And then slowly over time, everybody just, started to come along and grow. And I have said this before and I'll say it again. I have an amazing team. I love them all to death. I've known them for a very long time. They have known me since I was 11 years old.
Wow.
Ooh,
so, long time. And what was funny was they showed me an acting school that was in Atlanta that I started going to. And I was really excited too, and I was about to have my first class. But before then, I had to do this audition. And I was nervous as fuck because I'm like, I don't know how to do this. I was like, wait, what? And so I'm like, okay, whatever. So I go in, I start doing the audition, and they're like, okay, just step up to the mark. And my dumbass goes, what's a mark? I was like, what? That thing? That little T? Yeah, that thing. And I was like, oh, okay. And I had to learn not to look directly into the camera lens. Like, it was not natural, to say the least.
Right.
Like, all the technical stuff, at least. The technical stuff is what messed with me. But doing the actual scene, that was fun. I just kind of got lost in it. And I was like, okay, well, this I know how to do. This, not so much. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I did everything pretty backwards though, because I was fortunate enough to get representation before I even went to an acting class. So I did everything backwards. I got representation, I went to do an audition, and then I went to my first ever acting class.
That's great. What were you doing, like plays and stuff before?
No.
She's like,
I'd never done a play, never done a musical. After I started doing acting, I started doing improv, which was super fun. But other than that, no, I never took an interest in musicals or plays.
Oh, no singing, huh?
No. No, I think it's in everyone's best interest that I don't sing. Yeah.
I was about to say, if you do sing, you're going to have to come on my show because mine's on music. So,
Listen, I love singing. I play the piano, love playing the piano. And I've taken singing lessons before, but I can sing. It's just the one thing that I have like stage fright with. So I always overthink it. And then I always end up messing up. And like, it doesn't sound great when I'm in front of people because I just get too nervous. Also, I just realized I was not expecting to be using my phone during this because, my iPad just kind of kaputs. And my phone is on 10%. Is it cool if I run and grab a charger to connect to this phone?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I will be right back.
After these messages from
Right.
No. No.
No more commercials to run.
No. Oh no, I have a commercial I can run, but I won't run it unless she's here because it actually has to do with animals.
Oh.
Wait, it does?
Yes, it does. Oh, so you can hear us.
I can hear you a little bit. God damn
What'd you
it.
do? Get a new sponsor?
No, actually, I have the last commercial that Betty White did.
What?
For the animal rescue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I it was sent to us the month after she passed away, and I've kept it in StreamYard ever since.
Really?
Because literally, we were the first show to receive it.
Huh.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I play it every once in a while for people like Gabby, which we'll get into, folks, when she comes back.
Okay.
Can you still hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Well, sometimes we've had guests plug their phone in, and all of a sudden they lose their audios.
Yeah.
So, just like I was saying, while you were plugging in your phone, you have a love for animals.
I do. I have a big place in my heart for animals.
So I was explaining to Jags, and Jeremy already knows this, but one of the agents that I deal with deals with a lot of A-list actors and actresses, and Betty White was huge into rescue animals. You know who Betty White is?
Oh, of course.
So the very last commercial that she ever filmed was a month before she passed away. And we were the very first show to ever get it. And that was I want to say that was right at the end of 2022. And I've kept it in here. So now that you're back and we kind of talked about it, I am going to play that real quick just so that you can kind of see it.
I would love that.
All right, let's check this out.
Thank you for supporting Actors and Others for Animals. We started a long, long time ago. So when you find an organization like Actors and Others for Animals, it sort of unites all of those of us who want to pay back something for all the joy we get out of animals. Please keep up the good work. Believe me, it's deeply appreciated.
I absolutely love that.
Yeah, I mean, we were really honored and blessed that the gentleman, the agent that I work with, sent that to us. And I told him, anytime I have a chance to play it, I'm never going to delete it out of our StreamYard. So anytime we have a guest that talks about the love for animals and things like that, I'm like, I got something I got to play for you.
Thank you.
So favorite animal?
I don't have one.
You have a dream animal?
I'm gonna be one of those people, but I don't have one.
Okay.
No,
So
I do have my babies though.
Right.
My first, well, technically kind of like my first dog was my dad's dog. His name was Tipper. He was a mix of like German Shepherd, Chow, and Black Lab.
Wow.
But he was a very, very patient dog. I've heard stories of when I was a kid, and this is absolutely disgusting, but when I was a kid, apparently he took a piece of food of mine, and I didn't like that. So I crawled to him, and this dog, which was a big dog, this dog was almost 100 pounds, I'm pretty sure, let me open his mouth, grab the food out of his mouth. And what I did with it next, I'm not going to say. But he was a very patient dog, and he let a child do that, and he was amazing. Like when I was little, I used to kind of like just kind of ride on his back and all of that. But my baby, who I've had since he was a puppy, when we got him from someone out of their garage, his name is Balboa. He is a pit bull mixed American bulldog. He's around 90 pounds or so. And I think I was 8 or 9 when we got him. And he was a tiny little thing, but he had massive paws. And we knew he was going to grow into them, and he certainly did. His head is huge. His head is about that big.
Wow.
That is massive, and I love him. And then we have Titus, who is a Frenchie, he is from a breeder. I'm very open, but I don't really like supporting breeders. There are enough animals up for euthanasia in shelters. Mm-hmm. Plus, Frenchies specifically are they're not built for bred.
You're gonna have to take them to the vet.
Yeah,
they're built all sorts wrong.
They're not built. They're not, built to be bred. A lot of people will breed Frenchies and continue to breed them, and the only way to do it is to be taken out by like a C-section or something like that.
Yeah.
And at that point, just attach a zipper to the dog if you're going to continue doing it. But yeah, so that was more my mother. My mother wanted him, love him to death. I mean, he's here now. He's my baby as well, but not my idea. And then my final, then I have another dog that I rescued off the side of a highway. His name is Badger. He was also a pit bull. He's been adopted out since, which is amazing. But he was underweight, and I was able to bring him up about like 15 pounds. So he went from like 48, 50 or something like that up to 55, 60, 65. He was getting there, which was great, which was amazing. He looked great, and he was the sweetest dog, but he had a lot of energy, and I had a very small apartment. So as much as I took him out on walks and took him out on hikes and all of that, he was very energetic, and he was going crazy cooped up in that apartment. So I knew I couldn't keep him, but I wanted to at least get him off the streets. Right. He did chew up my mattress though, which was fun. I actually have so many videos. He ate a lighter. Which scared the shit out of me, and it was the middle of the night, and I called poison control for like dogs, and I paid $80 for them to tell me that he was going to be fine. I was like, cool, whatever. I don't care how much I have to spend. I just need to know if I need to take my dog to the emergency room. It wasn't open. I want to say that. I want to like clarify that. It wasn't out in the open. I never left anything for him to grab. This fucker went in my nightstand. Like, figured I had to grab the little handle with his teeth and pull, because I also kept his treats in there. And motherfucker grabbed a lighter. And I was like, are you kidding me? Are you trying to get that? Ate a toothbrush. That was fun. My personal favorite, found a jar of coconut oil and bit the glass so hard that it broke. He was fine. Once again, trip to the vet. Perfect condition. Totally fine. But he was not the brightest bulb.
See, he bit
the things that could hurt him. And I was like, why do you do this to me?
He bit the coconut oil because he was watching you try out for Evil Dead Rise.
There you go.
He's like, look, I can do that too.
my last dog, that she got old and passed away, but she was a rescue pet, and I went to a craft brewery that they were doing a big celebration, and I got drunk and found this dog, and I refused to leave without this dog because my dream dog was always a blue-nosed pit. And there they had one, and I was so like out of it. I didn't see the scarf around the neck that says "I bite," so I just went straight up to it. Well, it didn't bite me. Like, she sat in my lap and was letting me pet her. And the lady comes up and she goes, "You can have that dog for free." I'm like,
I love that so much.
And so she never, ever, ever bit nothing. I never had no problems. But the one time I had to take her to the vet, she ate a whole bag of, what can I say, broccoli. And
I know what you're talking about.
She became an astronaut that day.
Why would you even say broccoli? You do realize
you can't say the other shit on Facebook. You'll get in trouble now.
Oh, we run a disclaimer. We say whatever the hell we want.
No, I've had accidents.
She became an astronaut.
I bet.
Yeah, actually, my first job was at a pet store where we were very, holistic. I'm very big into raw feeding and whatnot. I can tell you the biological aspects to it and whatnot. I really did enjoy that job. That job was so much fun. And it was something I was passionate about, something that I'd been doing with my own pets for God knows how long. Oh my gosh. Real quick, I totally forgot about my last baby, my last but not least baby. Kosa, my cat. He's around here somewhere. But he's a little white cat with orange patches on it. And he is very sweet. He's not one of those cats that it just hides and you never see him or just doesn't like you touching him. He will come right up to you and he'll cuddle you. He doesn't like strangers, but as soon as he warms up, he will lay in your lap, cuddle, let you pet him, let you rub his belly and everything. Just the biggest sweetheart ever. He's an asshole sometimes, but he's really sweet.
He's an asshole sometimes.
But basically what I was saying is that at my first job, we had a lot of situations where we sold CBD oil for dogs and cats, to calm them down. Now, it was specifically meant for dogs and cats.
Yep.
You could either put it in their food or you could put it on their tongue or on their paw, whatever you wanted to do. But it was meant for them. And the amount of times we had people coming in and just saying, "Oh, well, I'll just give them one of my gummies, or I'll just sprinkle a little bit of this on their food." And I was like, nervous voice. Actually, we highly, highly advise against doing that. They're like, "Well, why?" And I was like, because it's not going to affect them the same way it affects you, and it can actually, it can be dangerous.
Yeah, especially if it has THC in it.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. And so I was like, see, this is CBD. That's something completely different. So that's going to do something completely. And they're just like, "I don't really care." And I'm like, cool.
You will when your dog's walking backwards.
Exactly. So yeah, oh God, I have so many crazy stories from there that I actually don't even know if it's... I know there was a disclaimer, but still, there's a lot of wild stories from my time there.
So we are getting close to time, folks. So get those questions and comments in if you'd like. I don't think I missed any. I just kind of ignored them all because we were having too much fun.
My bad. I talk a lot. You could ask anyone who knows me.
I know.
No, that's great.
That's better.
Oh yeah, it makes for a great show because you just,
I I've had so many bands, because I do a show where we interview bands, and I've had so many bands that I got excited to interview, and I'm like, all right, these guys are gonna be awesome. Their music's intense, blah blah blah. And I'll come on there and ask them a question. I get 1-word answers like the whole.
Oh yeah,
time.
yeah.
And I'm just like, I'll ask like the most like thought-provoking stuff that I possibly can, and it's like I'll still get 1- and 2-word answers, and just like,
that's when you start looking at the clock, going, "Oh my god, I am
I
never gonna make
still
it."
got 40 minutes.
I'm like, oh my god! And I just now looked at the clock. I had no idea we've been on here. It only feels like we've been on here for like 10 minutes.
I know. We
My phone
just
said it was low battery. I was like, wait, what? And then I looked at the time and I was like, oh my gosh.
yeah. We hit. Oh, we just
We lost
Dustin.
Jags.
We just lost Jags. His phone just died. We'll see if he pumps back.
He'll probably be back in.
But we are close to that time, and I promise. Oh, there he is. Your phone died?
No, for some reason I just got booted out.
Somebody tried to call you.
I'm not on my phone. I'm on my laptop.
Oh, okay. Well, you're fine then. So we are close to time, and I did promise Gabby's agent that I would not keep her all night long, even though we could just sit here and keep chatting.
Good.
You know, but folks, definitely check her out. Go down to Georgia Pop and HorrorCon August 2nd through 4th down in Columbus, Georgia. She'll be down there. You don't want to miss that. But if you do miss that, she's going to be in Virginia at the Tidewater Horror Convention, September 14th and 15th, right down by Virginia Beach. Oh, you don't want to miss that one. Trust me. Trust me. So anyways, with that being said, gentlemen, Jags, any last questions for our amazing guest this evening?
No, she answered all mine.
She answered everything I had to ask. That's why I threw my show notes over there, because she just was like, whoop. And I'm like, I don't even have to ask that question. She already answered it. I'm good.
Yeah,
Ja-ja.
like, I could go into some stuff, but like everything, like besides the normal question, like do you have any hobbies that we don't know about, or any special talents that we don't know about?
Well,
Like anything even weird, like you can like wrap your arms around your head or something weird like that.
Well, I can't. This isn't a talent, but it's definitely something weird. I can crack a lot of the joints in my body because of ballet. You know, all the stretches that we did, they essentially slowly dislocate your joints. And I've been dying to do this the entire time because my neck is super stiff. So I guess I'll just do it. And if you guys hear it, you hear it. But
Oh yeah,
Look at Jags.
that's good for some horror movies.
He's like, oh.
yeah, I don't know if that's a talent, but it definitely freaks some people out.
Dude, if I do that, somebody's gonna have to call EMS.
Yeah, right.
You're like, fuse his neck back together, folks.
But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Aside from the fact that I really love to cook, I cook a lot.
Whoa, what is that?
All right,
What did you say? You cook a lot? What?
I like to cook a lot and I like to bake a lot. So yeah, that's kind of what I do in my off time. Is if I have some free time, I'll just find a recipe that I want to make and just spend it doing that.
Nice. So I'm going to ask what our producer usually asks, but he's not here to ask. What do you dork out about? Something that like most people wouldn't understand or know. For instance, they've had guests on before who dork out over sunken vessels, like the history of sunken vessels.
Wow.
We've had people that dork out about astronomy or astrology. Ghosts. Is there something that Gabby dorks out about that?
Definitely. That might help a little. Kind of what I was talking about earlier, where I used to work at that pet store, where we specialize in biologically appropriate diets and holistic solutions for both dogs and cats. So when it comes to Cushing's disease, dilated cardiomyopathy, kidney disease, kidney failure, well, there's not much you can do about that, but yeast overgrowth in the gut, I I nerd out about that so much. You know, when someone is like, "Hey, there's this thing going on with my dog," I'm like, "Give me the food. Give me the bag of food. Let me look through it." Okay, so you see that? That's a pseudonym. That oh my gosh, what is it called? That thing that's called powdered cellulose. Yeah, that's sawdust in your dog's food. I love that shit. It is so fun for me, and I could go on and on and on for hours about it.
So I could actually, because you nerd out about it, you know, with the acting and the ballet, I could see you becoming a vet.
I wanted to when I was little, actually. My dad is a doctor, and my older brother was interested in medicine. And I found medicine interesting, but not people medicine. That's too much for me. I'm not good at that. But I found, you know, veterinarian school pretty interesting, but I don't know. I think I'd prefer working in a shelter more than that. Mm-hmm. There are some veterinarians that work in shelters though, so that could be interesting. But yeah, it's definitely something that crossed my mind when I was little.
Nice. So, like I said before, folks, make sure you head down to Georgia, Virginia. Follow Gabby on the social medias. Her stuff is in the show notes up above or down below. You'll know where else she might be. So, yeah, with that being said.
Are the pups coming with you to Georgia?
No, they are not. They will not be coming.
Okay.
They're a little older, so they don't travel as much as they used to.
Gotcha.
So, Gabrielle, where do you like interacting with your fans on social media?
When or where?
Where?
I'm horrible at social media. I'm going to be so transparent. I'm trying to get better at it, but like I said, I just moved, so I've been really busy. But the best place is probably either TikTok or Instagram.
There you go, folks. And those are in the show notes up above or down below. Jags, you know the question.
So you guys can catch me every Friday night on Sound Injection on Hellfire Entertainment. I will not be there this weekend because my fiance is coming home, and we're going to be at the beach all weekend. So they're actually doing Lords of October this weekend. Big Will from the Rock Assault Radio Show will be filling in for me. So you can catch us on there every Friday, 9:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Hey, check out Splash Pages every Tuesday night on the Facebooks and the YouTubes and other platforms. It's Tuesday night at 8, and then I'll be back here next Wednesday. And coming to Terrificon, I got 2 panels. One's Celebrity Deathmatch, if anybody remembers the show, with co-creator Carl Paliano. And then I'm also doing a comic book panel with Kyle Stark. So come see me. It'll be fun.
Yeah, what they said.
Yeah.
So, first of all, I want to thank Gabrielle for coming out and hanging out with us tonight, just chatting like we always do. Thank my boy Jags for filling in, as he always does. Jar Jar gets no thanks because he's just kind of part of the show now.
Yeah, I'm the wall.
You know, as far as us, you know, you can go to stilltoking.com, find out everything you want to know there, including all our past shows, this show. Red Coral Universe, we're streaming on that now. That's a new streaming OTT that's going to be streaming all our shows. Toking with the Dead on Facebook. Jeff's not here. He usually does all this. So stilltoking.com. It's just the easiest. You'll find out everything you want to know, from the comic books to the novels to the live TV series to the upcoming animation, where we're going to be. Follow us, you know, hit the like button, click subscribe. Make sure you follow everybody here. To all our veterans and first responders, we want to thank you for doing what you do so people like us can do what we do. Stay safe. We'll see you next week. And we'll be already here when Ben can find the button. There it is. Step it off, bring it down.